Wherever you are, leaders are important. Whether it's to lead powerful organizations or just to make sure a group of friends are having a good time. Here are the 7 traits that all great leaders possess. Number 1, they radiate positive energy. There is nothing more important in a team than passion and the will to succeed. And having a positive leader is an important part of that. Sometimes I sign onto Facebook and I see these status updates that just reeks of negativity. These people are not good leaders, and more often than not, they are not very successful either. Great leaders radiate positive energy. Not only does that make them more likable, leading to more trust, it also boosts the team's morale. And countless studies have shown a positive relationship between team morale and productivity. Number 2, they have a proactive attitude. When something goes wrong, it's easy to blame someone else or to find out why it happened immediately. But great leaders put that aside. They shift their focus entirely on solving the problem. I used to be in charge of the takeout service at the restaurant I worked at. So basically, people would call to make their order, and my job is to make sure everything is packed and given to the right person. It was a really busy restaurant, so mistakes weren't that uncommon. This one time, after a customer came to pick up his food, I realized that we forgot to pack part of his order. I was fairly new at the time and I didn't know what to do, but luckily one of the owners of the restaurant was there, so I explained to him what happened. He didn't blame me. He didn't even ask how it happened. Instead, he told me to call the customer, apologize for what happened, and then tell him that we will personally deliver the missing part of his order to his house. At the end of the day, the owner sat down with me to talk about how we can prevent something like this from happening again, but he did it at the end of the day, not when the problem was still unresolved. Great leaders know what to focus on at any given point in time. They are proactive. Number 3, they delegate tasks completely. Great leaders realize that they can't do everything themselves, so they focus on the most difficult tasks and delegates the rest to others. Let's say you make more than $30 an hour. Yet, every week you still spend several hours cleaning your house and doing the laundry. Considering a maid costs around $30 an hour, you might decide it's worthwhile to hire one to do your housework for you. When I first started delegating my work to others, I was hesitant because I knew that I could probably do a better job than the person I'm assigning it to. For example, a maid might put your clothes in the wrong drawer every once in a while, but you should still hire her, because the extra time you get to work on more valuable tasks generally outweighs the negatives. Delegating also means fully trusting your team to do the task, without micromanaging their every move. Great leaders delegate tasks to others, and trust them to get the job done. Number 4, they are approachable. A great leader is one who their teammates could see themselves approaching whenever they have a concern, or when they simply need someone to discuss things to. When Sam Walton opened over a dozen Walmart stores, he was still available to privately talk to any one of his thousands of employees. Was this the reason Sam Walton was so successful? We can't say for sure, but he is a prime example of someone who's approachable, and it so happens he's also one of the most notable leaders in the last 3 decades. There is a saying that's very appropriate in this situation, and that is, a non-productive work environment is one where employees are discouraged to speak up, fearing the loss of their jobs. Great leaders encourage feedback from all members of the organization. They are approachable. Number 5, they do what they expect of others. If you expect your team to work hard and produce great results, you're going to have to do the same. When I was a kid, I worked at Wendy's, the fast food restaurant. There were 2 managers there, Maria and Francis. Maria was very good at telling us what to do, but she would always be in her office talking on the phone with her boyfriend. We listened to her, but none of us really respected her. And that is because she doesn't place the same expectations for herself as she does for us. Francis, on the other hand, was different. He didn't have a lot of leadership traits. In fact, he even had trouble telling us what to do. But the one thing he did have was he pulled his own weight. When it was busy, he would grab the spatula and start flipping burgers alongside us. As a result, he gained the respect of everyone. Whenever he was our manager, we worked hard because we wanted to, for Francis. A great leader sets an example, and as a result, gains the respect of his or her entire team. Number 6, they are accountable. Your team's mistakes are your mistakes because you are their leader. Remember the restaurant example? When we left out part of the customer's order, the owner and I personally went to deliver what we missed. Imagine the owner of a restaurant coming to your doorstep to apologize for their mistake. That is unheard of, and yet that is exactly the level of accountability great leaders practice all the time. It's not just about responsibility, it's about taking the next step to make things right. Great leaders are accountable. And lastly, they are decisive. A lot of times, leaders have to make decisions that they are not sure of. But once they have enough evidence to suggest making that decision, they stick with it, and they do it with confidence. Imagine that you are the commander of an army, and you have to make the decision whether to enter the enemy territory from the north or from the west. There's no information as to which one makes more sense, but you will still have to choose. Because without you, their leader, half of your army might decide to invade from the north, and half from the west, and some might even call it quits and retreat. Therefore, your job as a leader isn't to always make the right decision, but it's to make a decision in order to keep the team together. Wrong decisions could be fixed, but a scattered team is a recipe for disaster. Great leaders are decisive and confident in their decisions. I hope these...
Good day, everyone. This is Charm Gabileo Paras, your host for today's episode. We would like to dedicate today's show to the many women leaders out there whose professions, occupations, and day-to-day lives have evolved within the realm of sports, particularly in the areas of leading and managing sports programs, projects, and activities. They radiate positive energy. They have a proactive attitude. They delegate tasks completely. They are approachable. They do what they expect of others. They are accountable. They are decisive. Wonderful qualities of a good leader. To those women in the sports communities and grassroots who play their roles well and outstandingly behind the desk, behind the scenes, we know you work in silence. Usually, you lead without the usual limelight in sports because of your creative minds and resourceful spirit and your willpower to make things happen. The playing fields, the sporting stages, become a meal machine that refines the sports talents until champions are produced. We dedicate this episode to all women sports planners and leaders who have been working at Backstage, painstakingly crafting plans and programs, and leading people to great executions of visions, directions, and strategies. Sports missions are accomplished because you have prepared and laid the groundwork. Sports greats and champions are built through the years because the groundwork was prepared carefully according to defined goals and directions. And you stood by in silence as you watched and led the making of outstanding sports programs, projects, and champions. And today's episode, the limelight is focused on you, standing at the center stage. In today's episode, we are proud to feature An Ilonga, a woman from Iloilo Province who was recently declared the winner of the prestigious trophy for Babaeng Lider sa Komunidad Award. But before we bring you memories of the awards gala night in December 2021, and before we talk about this woman leader who have worked behind the scene in grassroots sports, let's relax and listen to another kwento of Commissioner Celia Kiram about the word leadership.
Ang aking ibabahaging kwento sa inyo ngayon ay ang mga nakakawining kaalaman tungkol sa salitang leadership. Alam niyo ba na ang aktwal na etymolohiya ng salitang leadership ay moderno? Ang unang kilalang paggamit ito ay nagsimula pa noong 1821 nang ang leader ay isinama sa panlapi na ship na nagpapahiwatig ng posisyon. Tulad ng posisyon ng isang pinuno, Ang salitang leader naman ay isang matandang salita galing sa Old English na ladere, na nangangahulugang isang namumuno o the one who leads. Alam niyo ba na ang lead o pinuno ay walang deribasyon sa Latin o Greek? Ang pinakamalapit na salita sa nauugnay na leadership ay ang salitang Latin na ducere, na ang ibig sabihin ay to lead. Isang nakakawiring kaalaman naman na sa modernong wikang Romanian, ang salitang leading at leadership ay conducere. Ayon naman sa arcade ng Dictionary of Word Origins, ang salitang leadership ay may dalawang ugat na pinanggalingan. Una, inilalarawan ang metal na maaaring nagmula sa Indo-European na nangangahulugang daloy. Ang iba pang bakas ay humantong pabalik sa isang sinaunang panahon sa kanluran at hilagang Germanic legend na nagmula sa lait ho na ang ibig sabihin ay paraan o paglalakbay, kung saan nagmula ang salitang Ingles na load. Etymologically, ang salitang lead ay nangangahulugang cause to go along one's way. Isang Amerikanong scholar na si Warren Bennis ang itinuturing na isang tagapanguna at kinilala na ama sa larangan ng pag-aaral ng pamumuno. Siya ay may nasulat na higit na 30 na libro tungkol sa pamumuno. Sa modernong mundo, ano nga ba ang pamumuno? Ayon sa Forbes, ito ay isang proseso ng impluwensyang panlipunan na pinapakinabangan ang mga pagsisikat ng iba tungkol sa pagkamit ng isang layunin. Diyan nagwawakas ang kwento tungkol sa special edition namin ngayon na leadership. Muli, ito ang inyong Commissioner Kiram na walang sawang maghahatid ng kwentong kababaihan, kwento para sa kaalaman at karunungan sa sport.
Not at your best? You may be dehydrated. You need Pocari Sweat. It replaces the electrolytes you've lost and helps you perform at your best. Be at your best with Pocari Sweat. Pocari Sweat.
Gintong Gawad is a national awards platform to celebrate and pay tribute to groundbreaking, inspiring, notable, timeless, outstanding contributions to the promotion and development of women in sports in the grassroots level. In 2021, the Babaeng Lider sa Komunidad Award was one of the 8 categories open for search. Samahan niyo akong balikan ang makasaysayang gabi ng Gintong Gawad Awards Night noong December 21, 2021. Congratulations sa ating babaeng leader sa komunidad at sa kanyang nominator, ang Provincial Government of Iloilo, kasama ang kanilang butihing governor na si Honorable Arthur Defensor Jr.
Our next award is for Leader ng Sports sa Komunidad Award. The awardee is a female leader involved in leading, heading sports and physical fitness activities in the community from 2018 to current period. Nominated by the Iloilo Provincial Government, the Babaeng Lider ng Sports sa Komunidad Award goes to Dr. Janelyn T. Fundal. And representing Iloilo Provincial Government is Mr. Ray Cawarles from Iloilo Sports Development and Management Office.
Standing here before you doesn't mean that I am ahead of you, nor you are ahead of me. Rather, our deeds are ahead of us. To our distinguished selection committee, to my fellow awardees, ladies and gentlemen, to Commissioner Kiram, and most of all to God, good evening. This is not the right moment to sing the merits of my life. I am not a storyteller actually. Instead, I am a doer. In movies, actors become popular in portraying others' lives. How would it be more self-satisfying if we became popular portraying our own life? In a true-to-life stories, no one directs us, but ourselves. Tonight, I am so honored that through the Philippine Sports Commission's initiative, many of the doers and not the talkers like me were discovered. Thank you for being like a Discovery Channel. Because of this Gintong Gawad 2021, there were silent Filipino sports workers and leaders out there who were noticed. The challenges they encountered, that we encountered, the trials we faced, and the difficulties we overcame that were overheard for so long were given justice and recognition tonight. Again, I said, this is not the moment that I will sing the merits of my life, but I beg your forgiveness. How would I become popular to all of you here, if I would not tell you who I am and what I did in sports? For everybody's information, I grew up in a home of fusillade and by a chalk dust. What is the relevance of this in my life? My father was a military man who could have thought that one day in every gunfire made our hero not to be home again. Because of his heroism and bravery that he has bequeathed to all of us, his children, made me who I am today. What about the symbolism of a chalk dust? My mother was a teacher. Every piece of chalk dust that was marked on the blackboard gave me hope to live a life to the fullest. Modesty aside, the piece of chalk that the people in the academy had made me and had brewed me to become a transformative leader. The gunfire and the chalk dust have molded me to do what is right in everyday life. I always see and think that life is a precious gift from God. We dream to live not only with a peaceful mind and a happy life, but we dream to live a life with true wisdom, not by the reason, but by the heart, for the sake of the children. For 10 long years, I was hired and served as an ordinary teacher, like my mother, who retired with full of academic humility, compassion, and character. My mother educated me and always told me that our character defines who and what we are in the eyes of the public and in the eyes of God. According to John Wooden, and I quote, "Be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think who you are." Not because of destiny, but because of my character that made me believe in my capacity and self-worth. I became an education program supervisor for 6 long years and was assigned at the office of the Assistant Schools Division Superintendent for 5 years. I became a career executive service eligible, and with full humility, I was the first and only Badminton World Federation certificated umpire from the country who officiated in the 2 Olympics, the Rio de Janeiro Olympics in 2016 and the Tokyo 2020 Olympics held recently in Japan. Who would ever thought that I will be going and was able to officiate as a badminton umpire in the Olympics? Performance is the best public relation, as they said. On the things we do, other people are our eyes and mouth to other people. Si Marites ay nakakatulong din minsan, sa totoo lang. Diba? Do you agree with me? Until another opportunity comes in 2017, then Governor Arthur Defensor Sr. was told by someone close to him that I can lead the sports development program in the province of Iloilo. Actually, hindi kami personally na magkakilala ni Bo. He just invited me if I'm interested to lead that office. The rest was history. I became the Provincial Government Department Head of the Iloilo Sports Development and Management Office of the Province of Iloilo, bringing the challenge of change in the management of the office and the Iloilo Sports Complex. The Governor had given me only 3 years to transform the Iloilo Sports Development Management Office and the management of the sports complex. Since my assumption as head of the office, we have projects which create a great impact of athletic development. To name, the Regional Invitational Championships, participated by more than 1,000 athletes for badminton, swimming, chess, table tennis, among others. National Goodwill Games aim to provide playing exposure of the Iloilo athletes in the national level. Inter-school sports competition for basketball and volleyball. Over and above this, we need to capacitate our officials and coaches also. Thus, conducting an advanced training for technical officials and coaches in basketball, football, volleyball, then swimming and athletics. We don't settle for less. The reason why we invited national coaches, and these are for free for all our coaches. Now, I have transformed the Iloilo Sports Complex, if not the best, one of the best sports complexes in the Philippines. Kaya anytime ready na kaming mag-host ng national events. Projects which created impact to socio-economic development. Looking back, in 2017, I don't know where and how to start improving the facilities. The very best thing was Governor Defensor Sr. doesn't know how to say no to my requests, not to mention that the requests were in millions. We started rehabilitating the drainage system, improving all the comfort rooms to make it really comfortable for the users, repainting the grandstand, landscaping, beautification, retiling of the stage, swimming pool, rehabilitation of the pool area, construction of athletes' quarters and employees' quarter, among others. The activities and programs initiated have caused active involvement of athletes, coaches, and other stakeholders, thus producing a very large number of participation.
This is Governor Toto Defensor. I would like to congratulate Dr. Janelyn Fundal, our Provincial Government Department Head for Iloilo Sports Development and Management Office, for winning the Philippine Sports Commission's Gintong Gawad 2021 as Women Leader in Sports in the Community. Thank you, Philippine Sports Commission, for this Gintong Gawad 2021 initiative, recognizing the women's contribution in sports excellence. Dr. Fundal's current achievement in sports reflects the glory and honor of the province of Iloilo. Rest assured that under my administration, sports will be among the priority programs and projects of the province of Iloilo. Mabuhay!
At this point, we are proud to present some exciting information and stories behind some major programs and initiatives of the Provincial Government of Iloilo that our awardee, Dr. Fundal, had the chance to lay the groundwork and to lead and manage.
My utmost congratulations to Dr. Janelyn Fundal, and also extending my gratitude for your contribution to the Iloilo Provincial Government and to the province of Iloilo, specifically on sports. You made a big contribution, a gargantuan task for making Iloilo Sports Complex one of the best facilities in the country. In fact, the visitors, tourists, and even sports enthusiasts lauded your efforts for making the Iloilo Sports Complex great and beautiful and nice to play and visit with. So I hope that you will continue to strive more and do your best to make Iloilo great. So Dr. Fundal, madamo gid nga salamat sa imo nga bulig. Salamat gid sa imo nga pag-ulikid sa mga Ilonggos, labi na gid sa sports.
When I was a schools division superintendent, I used to tell my people that I'm not a good farmer, but because I could not cook runs, but I know how to cook people. One of those men and women I have grown in my time was a charming young lady, the person of Dr. Janelyn T. She was then my classroom teacher at Iloilo National High School, but I saw in her qualification and dedication to physical education. So we decided to appoint her as our supervisor in sports, and likewise she managed all the sports programs of the biggest division throughout the country. History would tell us that Iloilo became a sports power because of this lady, and it has been a stepping stone towards success. Because after several years, when I was working with the governor, he asked me whom I could recommend to become the leader of sports in the province of Iloilo. Without an iota of hesitation, I recommended Dr. Janelyn T because of her qualification and her earnest desire to improve sports development program in the province of Iloilo. After a year or two, the governor and I were proven right because she did an outstanding job in the province of Iloilo, particularly in the development of grassroots sports. She has developed a program that is well accepted by the leaders in the community and as well by the school system. You know, Philippines needs leaders like Dr. Fundal, person who could influence others. She is one of the best influencers in sports in our country. So I wish to congratulate her for the job well done and to the awards given to him by the Philippine Sports Commission. I hope this award will lead her to perform more for the development of sports program in the whole country.
We started swimming here again at the Iloilo Sports Complex swimming pool since November 2021 when it reopened. And I was really surprised, amazed by the changes that have been implemented. It's more beautiful, and it's the best part about it is cleaner. The water is always blue, not like before when it was usually green and the swimmers would kind of hesitate to use the pool, but now they love swimming here because the water is always clean. The other improvements that have been implemented is the landscape, the garden. It makes you feel like you're in a resort and not just the Iloilo Sports Complex. I believe this was all done through the efforts of the Dr. Jane Fundal, and I've heard a lot about her. I met her several years back, but it was a brief encounter, so we didn't really remember each other. Then, when she came to supervise the Iloilo Sports Complex, I've heard stories about her. some were not really flattering. But then, I didn't have any opinion about her because I haven't really met her personally. Then, when we started swimming here, there were things that we wanted to do, but we had to ask permission from her. And I postponed it for quite a while because I hesitated because of the impressions of other people about her. But when we finally met, those impressions or those opinions of other people kind of disappeared because I found her to be a warm person and not the strict person that people are talking about. So one time, we were able to talk, and I asked for some permission to do things. And she kind of turned down my request, but in a very nice manner. So I wasn't really offended, and I didn't find her suplada or stricta, like what most people say. And then at another time, I was here at the sports complex at the pool, and I saw her walk in. When I saw her, she was in rubber shoes. She was walking around in rubber shoes. But when she came in, she took off her shoes and walked barefoot inside the sports complex. So that really impressed me, because at the entrance of the pool there's a sign that says only slippers allowed. So if you're in rubber shoes, of course you should not be entering. And when I saw her take off her shoes, I thought to myself, this is one person who walks her talk. So it's not just it's a rule, I'm the manager, I'm the supervisor, I'm exempted. No. She's the first one to follow the instructions, the rules that are set in the pool. And that's one thing that I really liked about her. And the one thing that impressed me about her really. And so now, no matter what other people say, that she's strict, she's suplada, I know they just don't know her well, or they don't know her enough. So because strictness can be variable, her strictness I find reasonable. She just wants to improve the environment. She just wants to level up, okay? Level up. So whatever she does, I believe, is for the improvement, for the betterment of the sports complex.
I'm Eileen Fajardo, a permanent employee of the Iloilo Sports Complex. I'm 62 years old and I'm about to retire, maybe 3 years from now. I just want to say that before I retire, I just want to tell everyone that there are a lot of changes since I started as a permanent employee here. Like, for example, the projects, like for example the buildings, the comfort rooms, the office policies under the leadership of Doc Fundal. Where I'm standing here now is the tennis court, which was before it's just a rubberized floor, and now it was turned to turf. And to be honest, Doc Fundal is very strict, but because of her strictness, I think the result is very good, and all the employees are all obliged to follow the policies. The most amazing part is the wellness program, which Doc Fundal imposed that all employees, whether you're young or you're old, you have to join the wellness program, because there's a attendance to be checked by in every leader. Now, that wellness program helped a lot, especially to those who are comorbid and to those who are seniors. And of course, everybody enjoyed the wellness program. And all I can say is, before I retire, I love my work. I love the assignment that has been assigned by my head, and I enjoyed working under the leadership of Doc Fundal. And maybe I stay healthy because we have the oval. If you want to exercise, you can just walk after office hours. And I am thankful also to my boss, Doc Fundal, because lahat kami minomotivate niya. Pag masama ang pakiramdam, nandyan siya. Pag may problema ka, pwede mo siyang kausapin, personal o office problems, nandun siya. So, I want to thank Doc Fundal and all my co-employees. And of course, before I retire, I just want to say thank you everybody, and I love you all.
My name is Wilhelm from Germany. Actually, I'm a retired German living since a long time already in the Philippines, exactly 14 years. And I remember 14 years ago I started here my first round in the sport complex. I was living very close here to the sport complex in Magsaysay, so it was easy for me to come here. I was running only one round, then I was already dead. Now after 14 years I'm running 25 rounds and I'm still alive. And I'm also joining most of the fun runs in Iloilo now. And I really enjoy to be here, especially in the sport complex. And over the 14 years I saw a huge improvement. 14 years ago it was a very simple sport complex. Nice but simple. But now when I see this development, I can't describe it in words. It's amazing. It's just mind-blowing. And Dr. Fundal, he did really a good job. Unbelievably good. So I enjoyed every morning to come here. I'm starting here at 5 o'clock running my 25 rounds. And unfortunately with growing age I'm getting a little bit slower, but I'm still trying to keep pace. Okay, that's what I wanted to tell you. Goodbye Iloilo. Thanks a lot to accommodate me here in the Philippines. I love the Philippines.
Good day. I am indeed honored and privileged to be given the chance to speak about the accomplishments and the leadership qualities of a great woman. And I just hope that in my candid idea of her, I would be able to provide justice to this great woman in sports that I am about to talk and share and give light. Dr. Jane Fundal is a woman and an icon in sports. As far as I'm concerned, as a school head and a teacher before, I have seen her in the stage of sports doing excellent and great things. When she was still in the Department of Education, ISDO Iloilo, I have seen her efforts to institute changes and development in the sports program of ISDO Iloilo. In fact, she is very creative enough to organize the entire division, sports, cultural enthusiasts, pull them together and provide them avenue for sports development. The organization of the ISDO Iloilo de Pescoa provided all sports coaches, trainers, and enthusiasts the opportunity to value their work of heart for sports. We know for a fact that in sports, we find greatest joy and leverage. And with that, Dr. Jane Fundal became an institution and a figure to look up unto and a source of strength and inspiration for student athletes and for coaches. With her magnanimous accomplishments, she was able to conquer the world the world of sports, and the world as a whole. And that she was rewarded of being an Olympic umpire several times. And with that, the Ilonggo people took so much pride of her. Our country is so proud of her too. And that because of her passion and love for sports, from the Department of Education, she transferred to the beautiful province of Iloilo to personally take charge and handle and take the lead of the Iloilo Sports Program, being appointed a department head in the province of Iloilo. In her watch, we have seen how much developments she instituted and initiated. In the Iloilo Sports Center alone, we have seen the infrastructure development and the turnover of changes and development of the physical facilities, because she wanted to provide comfort to athletes, coaches, and people going there for training. As a school principal, I have seen how much support she gave to the Varsity Program of the province of Iloilo. She transformed it into a force to reckon in sports and provided our children the avenue to train and to express themselves, and also to institute personality and character development through sports. I have personally experienced how passionate she is in providing our needs, the needs of the athletes. She would call us and she would provide us interventions so that we would be able to handle the program properly. In fact, from Gimbal National High School, now that I am at Oton National High School, I can still feel and see how she worked so hard to push this program amidst the pandemic. And with that, I can only say, my salute to you, Madam Jane Fundal, for this work of heart and for making things possible amidst the challenges that we all face. And surely, whatever accomplishments and awards and recognition given you, these are all worth, because you are truly a gem in sports. May you never get tired to serve your people through sports initiative. You are our pride. You are our treasure. My congratulations to you, Madam, and I'm bringing to you the thanksgiving and congratulations of your Oton National High School family and even the municipality of Oton. Thank you. Kudos to your more accomplishments and achievements and initiatives, and God bless you. Congratulations.
I, together with the provincial hired coaches of the province of Iloilo, are here at the Oton National High School to conduct the training for the coaches and, of course, for the athletes of the Oton National High School Flaming Blades Varsity School. So these are our coaches of the province of Iloilo. So they will now be proceeding to their respective areas for the official conduct of the training for today. Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the program of the varsity in the province of Iloilo is under the implementation of the office, Iloilo Sports Development and Management Office, under Dr. Janelyn Fundal. The Varsity Program and the Training Center program are the two approaches of the Sports Development Program of the province of Iloilo. Let's first tackle the Varsity Program, which is a new program in the Republic of the Philippines in Sports Development Program is concerned. What is Varsity Program in the province of Iloilo? Varsity Program is a program for sports that is normally operated by a private school. But as this time, the public school, elementary and high school, are now operating such parallel to the varsity program operated or implemented by the private school. What would it look like? The schools will implement how the varsity program of the private schools are operating, while the finances, the support for the supplies, for the equipment, for the facility development will be of help by the province of Iloilo. And of course, additional to that is the technical assistance support of the province of Iloilo to the varsity school who are in the province of Iloilo. So, as a pilot program for varsity program, the schools that entered into a memorandum of agreement with the province of Iloilo to operate varsity program are 5 schools in 2018. But as time goes by, some schools got interested in the program, and the program is now growing and growing, and by 2022 the program reached 30 schools from elementary and high school. These schools got their support from the province of Iloilo through support in supplies, equipment, and of course facility development and training for coaches and the athletes. So that's how varsity program works in the province of Iloilo. Another thing is the training center, which is an LGU-based sports program. The training center we established in the province of Iloilo is already at 48 training centers located at 22 municipalities. How will they get support from us? Our support from these established training centers are supplies, equipment, and of course, technical support to the coaches and athletes of the established training centers. So, what are the particular sports that we prioritize? That Iloilo can excel not only in local sports, but of course, in national sports competitions. We have prioritized 9 priority sports. What are they? These are athletics, badminton, basketball, chess, football, table tennis, swimming, and volleyball. These sports events are the kind of sports that in history of Iloilo, these sports excel in our province. That is why we prioritize this kind of sports. And why do we prioritize only these 9 sports? Because we focus only to 9 sports in order that our finance, our support to these sports will have a big impact, to our sports program in the province of Iloilo and of course in the entire country. So these are the 2 approaches in the sports development program of the province of Iloilo that under the leadership, the management of Dr. Janelyn Fundal, it continues to grow, and we are still hoping to reap a good product in the years to come.
Thank you very much, Dr. Fundal, for coming out to the center stage, for standing to be the symbol of the many more women leaders and managers out there who have been working behind the scenes in the community sports. Our salutes to all of you. Time is up for this week's Rise Up, Shape Up episode, and we would like to end the show with lines from John Maxwell. The pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The leader adjusts the sails. Again, thank you very much for your support. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube and follow us on our Facebook account. Rise Up, Shape Up is brought to you by the Philippine Sports Commission Women in Sports. Again, this is your host, Charm Gabaleo Perez. Have a marvelous day.
Rise up and